It is time to begin the Pocket Camp recreation. Now, stated originally, my plan was to do the Pocket Camp everything and then add in road trip elements, but it turns out I either vastly overestimated the size of a New Horizon island or vastly underestimated the size of Pocket Camp because the spaces in between that I imagined on that map do not exist when trying to convert those areas into New Horizons. So, I'm just gonna do a complete only Pocket Camp Island, and then in a couple months, I'll go ahead and do the road trip island I originally was planning. And with that, go ahead and subscribe if you're interested to see the completion of this Pocket Camp Island or that road trip island in the future. And now, let us begin the recreation of all the little campsites. First up, we will be doing Lost Lure Creek, and I won't be showing the complete terraforming of any of these areas, but just a little bit to give you a gist. Here's me terraforming the river, which is a key element of this area because this is the area where you get river fish mostly. And then coming along the back, here's some terraforming. These builds are for the most part terraforming because there's not a ton of items you put in them, so the main thing is the terraforming and the background to them. Alright, here we are with our blank slate, ready to be populated with trees and flowers and a couple items here or there. Really, as I said, not many items. And the unfortunate part about these cliffs, I tried to give them quite a bit of room, backed up when, okay, that's everything your eye can see. But when you're doing 4 cliffs like this, you really don't have a lot of room to grow things. So some of these won't grow, and I know that, and that's fine. But trying to put bushes where I know a tree won't grow. And eventually I want to get up to that 4th level and plant some plants. I think they'll only be able to fit 1 or 2 trees at the very 4th level. But getting that greenery up there would be nice. I'm not doing it today because I was defeated last time I tried to get up to the 4th level. I've done it before, but last time I was defeated and now I just don't have the willpower to try again, unfortunately. But yeah, there's the flowers. This area just had cosmos, and for some reason they were all red and yellow and there was 1 white thrown in. Yeah, these cliffs right here are a perfect example of not being able to fit any trees. Yeah, so I do put bushes along these cliffs just to have something. In Pocket Camp, the trees in the background are so voluminous. They are great in number, so it's a little sad to not have quite as many trees, but I fit what I could fit while still looking natural and not literally having them bump up as close as I possibly can to them. I don't know, maybe I should have done that, but I didn't. Alright, there it is with the trees. I did fast forward one day, I forgot it took 4 days, and then I realized I didn't fill that in, so I went ahead and filled that in with the 1 white Cosmo in this area. And with that, it's time to begin on the actual area itself. Basically, none of the tables and chairs in Pocket Camp of the little sitting areas they have in each campsite are in New Horizons, so I'm just grabbing whatever set looks best to me, and in this case it was the Iron Garden set. And this is also a source for fruit. I don't know, they have a separate place for fruit, but they randomly decide to throw in 3 different fruits here for you to use, so gotta put those fruit trees in, and they also have some normal trees mixed in there too. And I had to throw in a couple cedars because I'm gonna chop those down later for stumps. Then I'm just throwing a hammock down and we are done with the area. Here it is a couple days later. Everything's grown in. Quite lovely. Doesn't look, of course, exactly the same as Pocket Camp, but I feel like it gives the same general feeling that Pocket Camp would. You know, you're in the forest, things are pretty barren, and this is it. The next area up is Breezy Hollow. This one didn't have too much terraforming to do. I just had to do this path diagonal, which happened to line up with what will be the marketplace eventually. I know they're not exactly that close on the actual Pocket Camp map, but this is just how it worked out with spacing and things. So there's that diagonal path, and all these are naturally connected. I did think about using the warp pipes to warp between them, just because in Pocket Camp you like technically warp between them. I mean, technically you're supposed to be driving there, but you're actually warping. Alright, and there is how it's looking terraformed. So now to move into vegetation. This one is actually interesting because they put items outside of the campsite area. So there'll just be like a couple things here or there, like the firewood here and like a bucket. It's not much stuff, but I don't think any other place does it besides the lighthouse for Saltwater Shores. But yeah, same thing as before. We're putting some flowers down, we're putting some trees down. This one does have more normal trees because it's not in the mountains quite as much. And then there's some cedar as you go back more. And another thing interesting about this one is that they have a variety of flowers. The other ones, they do one flower. Like the next one we're gonna do is all pansies. The first one we did cosmos, but this one they did like lilies and tulips. And I think a couple pansies thrown in here or there. Oh, here's another interesting one. They threw in these log benches in the back. They're cute, but obviously can't do anything with them besides sitting there. And theirs are at a diagonal. Of course, we can't do that, but it would definitely be much cuter if we could. And there are rocks in Pocket Camp, in the places where you can't go, but I need all the rocks I can get for Shovelstrike Quarry, so whenever I see a rock, I break a rock in hopes that it'll spawn in the quarry. And now I'm going back through and doing the cedar. For everything else, I tried to place it approximately where it is in Pocket Camp, but it's a little bit difficult because the proportions definitely aren't the same. I tried to get them close, but they are not the same at all. But these cedars I just placed willy-nilly in what I thought would look okay. And with that, the background is done, and it's time to move into the everything else. First up are the benches, and I customized these in white. They don't exactly have the same style as the Pocket Camp ones, but they're white and they have slats in them, so I figured close enough. And as I mentioned, this is where you got your fruit. So this area will have every type of fruit. They do have, depending on your game, another fruit. In mine, it's lemons. For some people, it's lychees, and for other people, it's grapes. But I decided not to include that tree because this area is smaller than the actual area. So everything in here is a little bit squished. And for the picnic table, I threw down this log table with a nice little bench so you can sit and have your picnic at it. But I think this is the area with the most items, which still isn't many, especially compared to New Horizons standard. New Horizons, people deck everything out. There's a lot of stuff. Yeah, I put that orange down to be the lemon, but then I decided we're not gonna have the lemon thing. And now for the final items, now that trees are in place, there's the nice swinging bench, which is actually a perfect replica. And then the bucket, also a good replica, and the watering can, which was significantly smaller. But here we are with everything grown in, just a beautiful forest of fruit with some items in it. Oh, and by the way, I put the wrong person's house here. I will be swapping them later. It's supposed to be a cabin-y house there instead of that beachy house. Alright, moving on to Saltwater Shores, and here's some actual terraforming of me taking the stuff out, but for the most part I don't show it because it's kind of boring. And there, everything is taken out, and we are rounding those corners so everything looks nice and natural. There you have it. See, there's the cabin. It's supposed to be not here. It's supposed to be over in the other one. But this one actually has fences around it. They're white, but this is the right shape, so we're going with it. I don't know why they don't let you customize these to be other colors. I find it incredibly frustrating, but it is what it is. And this one is going to be mostly normal trees. Once again, they're going to have the cedar in the background. And this one has the most flowers out of any, and they're just red and yellow pansies. I think there might be a couple whites thrown in. It's so interesting how devoid of flowers Pocket Camp is. Especially hybrids. And the only place you can do flowers is in your garden. And obviously I bumped up pretty close to the other campsite, so we're just gonna have to go with their decorating a little bit in this. That's fine. As mentioned, there ended up being a lot less room than I ever expected. So, yeah. And we're also bumping up against the plaza. That is the shopping center. I was going to include it in this video, but then I realized I'm just not ready to do it. Not with the items, not mentally ready. So the marketplace will definitely be next time, along with OK Motors, Blathers Treasure Trek, Happy Home Thing, OK Motors, Shovelstrike Quarry, our cabin, and our campsite. Hopefully I can fit all those in one video. Somehow just fitting these campsites was a struggle, so it might have to be a 3-parter, but hopefully not. Hopefully I can fit all those cool things into one video. And then bam, there's the lighthouse. It's normally on the other level, but there's water there, so I put it here. Here is our blank canvas. I really appreciated being able to use the beach as part of it because that takes up less room of the actual island, and I have beaches aplenty to use, but not much to use them for. And I had to open my island designer because to put down the coconut trees, you have to have a little patch of sand. I don't know why they decided to put them in the dirt. Like, that disturbed me right from the beginning of playing Pocket Camp. I was like, why are they up here? You have all this beach room. Why not have them on the beach? But they're up here, so I will put them up here. And there's this little table and chairs. So I'm doing the Raton. I felt like it fit the beachy mood, but it's also white. So yeah, it works. And then the only other item here is the wild log bench. Really, it's sparse on items. Here you have it, the full build, which really isn't much. I guess the background has quite a bit going on. It has more flowers than any of the others. It is funny, just one bench, one thing. And there are like items that the animals either spawn in with or the other like human camper that visits your site. I might put those in the future. They're normally like campfires or whatever, but they're not like always there, so I've been debating it. And now we are moving into Sunburst Island. This one is the one I was most excited for, just because we're doing like an ocean around it. Unfortunately, the space, there's not much of it. So the grandeur idea I had, like my dream was to have that bridge coming off the side to be so long that you like have a full screen of water that you're like as you're walking over it. But yeah, the New Horizon Island was not as big as I thought it was, I guess. Because that's not happening. Instead we have 3 squares. But that's okay. When you're on the island, you're mostly only gonna see ocean. So that's what actually matters, right? And there's this little beach section before you get to the ocean. And here we are doing the actual ocean. Yeah, if I had a choice of where these were being put, I would have put this in the back corner so you would see the actual ocean, and so I didn't have to do this. Because even with all the space I took for this, you can still see the cliffs in the background, and I can't take it back much farther because then we're hitting another campsite. So there you go, it's a pretty good effect. And there was this small island to the left, so I decided to recreate that. I like that there's, that's your foreground, the water and this little island. And it was pretty simple. It just had like a tree and some stonework on it and some flowers and a bush. Really not much, but I'm hoping in the background it will bring a lovely view to the area. And with that done, I'm gonna close off the island for the rest of forever. Alright, back to the actual island. This one is also kind of sparse. Not as sparse as the last one, though. But there's this table with an umbrella. It's been in all the games previous, but not in this game, of course. So I'm just replicating that with the festival, umbrella, and a table. And then there's the beach chair. Same one as in Pocket Camp, actually, so that was nice. And then over here, we have another set of tables and chairs. There are poolside beds. They're not exactly the same as the ones in Pocket Camp, but they're definitely close enough. And then there was just this little tropical drink, so we're going to put that coconut juice down. And of course, we have more coconut trees up on the land, so I got to put down that grass and then we can grow them coconut trees, which is always just such a pleasure. And the only thing really left for this island are like all the stones. I did Stonehenge because it fills up a good amount of area, and then another one of the stone arches. I grabbed a bunch of other rocks thinking I might use them, but I didn't. Oh, and on this island, this one is for catching bugs, because I didn't mention that. But it's for catching bugs. So they have this log thing, and you fill it with honey, and then a bunch of butterflies come. So that's why I shoved that butterfly there. And now we gotta make the bridge look like a bridge. So I searched planks, or plank, and this is what came up, so I'm using it. I also searched bridge, but I didn't like any of the things on the bridge. Alright, coming back a few days later with everything grown, and this is what it looks like. Lovely Sunburst Island, very tropically. If you turn the camera like it's turned right now, the illusion that the ocean goes on forever can kind of be there, but when it's like that, you're like, oh, that is the end of the ocean. I don't know. I think I'll go back and like round things out so it's not so square, then it will look natural. Alright, and that is it, my Pocket Camp builds. I hope you enjoyed. Go ahead and subscribe for the rest of the Pocket Camp builds and future speed building shenanigans. I will say the next Pocket Camp builds are going to be a lot more interesting as we delve into not the campsites where there's a lot more going on. Like OK Motors has a lot going on, and Shovelstrike Quarry has a good amount going on. So those will all be very exciting, and of course, once I get to my road trip island, that one will be fantastic. I'm so excited. There's gonna be so much to put into it. Alright, thank you so much for watching. Tune in next time, and I hope you have the loveliest of lovely days.